Welcome to day two of the Alliance tournament. My name is Zastro. I will be your host, and I'm here with an android purpose built for storing all information about spaceships. And we call him Rivy. Rivy, what
Hi,
are we looking at
everybody.
here?
We are looking at Alpha Vol Union and Dark Taboo, who both brought setups that have a fair bit of ECM. Happy Canada Day, by the way, everyone. It's a great day for spaceships.
Oh,
Our match is going to
Canada.
be starting in just 10 seconds now. Alpha Vol Union has brought two Absolutions, a Mollis, and then a Rifter, a Neros, and two Griffins.
What do you think about Griffins over Merlins? Merlins were really popular yesterday.
Merlins were very popular. They're great tackle. They do a lot of damage for their points. But having the Griffins is something that can allow them to hopefully outlock those Rooks and get them jammed. We'll see what happens. The
And they're off.
Dark Taboo team is two Rooks and a Neros, two Daredevils, and a Mollis. Heavy jamming, especially with that Mollis to use scan resolution dampening and slow the relocks.
We do see a lot of ECM on the field right now. Yesterday, ECM was really an effective strategy. It looks like the Alpha Volley Union has a lot of jammers on them right now.
Yeah, and you'll notice that there's not a lot of E-War being applied to the Dark Taboo team at this point. It looks like those Rooks got jams on the Griffins, or for some reason the Griffins just haven't been able to get good jams on their opposing ships yet.
And they have the one Rook taking damage. He's in half shield already.
One interesting thing about these Absolutions is that because Ammar is the least common ship in the tournament, the least common race, it's the one that people are going to have fewer jammers for. So bringing an Ammar team is one good counter to an ECM team.
Why do you think we're not seeing a whole lot of lasers so far in the tournament?
Honestly, they just are a bit too slow. Most Ammar ships don't have the kind of speed you get out of something like a Sleipnir or even the good Galanti ships now. And it means that you just can't catch up and apply damage to the ships you need to get close to.
Yeah, we did see one team yesterday try to bring oracles, and they did not do too good.
I think we will see some of them, but they're not going to be as popular as the other races. It's interesting to note that I'm not seeing any ECCM effects from these Absolutions. It doesn't look like they've got ECCM running at all.
Well, it looks like Alpha Volley Union is primarying that one Rook still, but he's being repped up in armor by that Oneros.
There's not a ton of damage on either side. Yeah, those Absos do tons of damage by themselves, but they look like to be perma-jammed at the moment. I'm not seeing any lasers coming from either of them.
Yep, that one Griffin died due to a boundary violation.
Actually, we've now had both of, one of the Griffins from Dark Taboo has died, which is not going to help them at all. They need those Griffins alive to get counter jams on the Rooks. So we are seeing lasers now from the Absos applied to that one Rook, Psycho Bitch from Dark Taboo. He's dropping. We'll see how well he can tank the damage.
If both of those Absos get their lasers on that Rook, even that Oneros isn't going to be able to keep him up. Yep, now he's down.
That's a very good start for Alpha Volley Union. Getting a Rook down is going to make it a lot easier for all the rest of their ships to get locks.
Especially now that they're down a couple ships, there's fewer targets for the ECM to try to keep permajams.
And we're, again, seeing lasers coming from Wardax's Absolution from Alpha Vol Union. So it looks like with the one Rook down, they're both able to get locks again. And we're likely going to see a lot of damage applied to the remaining Rook for Dark Taboo.
He's got a cloud of drones on him, and that Absolution is closing with the Rook fast. He's going to get in close.
At this point, I think Alpha Volley is in a very strong position. Even if they lose, there's damage being applied to their Oneros now. So if Dark Taboo can take out that Oneros fast, they may be able to swing it. But it's going to be tough, because those Absos are now in perfect optimal range.
There hasn't been that much damage applied to the Alpha Volley Union ships anyways. The Griffins that they've lost were lost due to boundary violations. There's not a lot of DPS in total coming out of the Dark Taboo team at all. I guess they were relying on those Daredevils to be a significant portion of their DPS, but they haven't been doing too much so far.
Daredevils do quite a bit of damage, but it's not nearly as much as an Absolution. Absolutions do incredible damage with incredible tanks. Their only real downside is the slow speed that they go when they're plated. But once they catch up to those Rooks, as they have, they're going to bring him down. Oh, he's tanking about half armor right now, but I don't think it's going to last too much longer.
And then Oneros is trying to keep him up, but he can't rep through all the laser DPS.
So I'm a big fan of Absolutions for the tournament. As far as Ammar ships go, they're one of the best. Their mobility isn't too bad. They can get good range with Scorch, and they just are giant bricks. It's really hard to take one down.
Well, that Rook is doing an admirable job tanking that O'Nero's backing him up with the reps. I did not think he'd last this long.
No, he's taking well. I'm sure that Aniris has overheated reps right now, but he is coming into structure. It's worth noting the Rook had a smart bomb on him, so that was a very, very good idea. It helped him take down those light damage drones that were applying some damage to him.
At this point, there's very few drones left on the field. Most of them have been cleared off. But
Yeah.
as I say that, there he goes. There goes the Rook, and with that, I think that Dark Taboos, they're done.
Yep. Those Daredevils are applying damage to the Neros for Alpha Vol Union, and they may be able to take it down before they get finished off, but I still think that this is going to be an easy win for Alpha Volley at this point.
Yep, those Absols are just going to clear the field at this point.
And it's just a matter of time for them to get in range. Again, the slow speed is their biggest disadvantage, but once they get across the field, they're going to be able to do a great job of taking down the Daredevils. The tracking on medium pulse lasers is excellent, so they can hit small ships very well.
Yeah, plus those lasers have a great range anyway, so they're not terribly range inhibited.
Yep. It's interesting that both teams decided to go after the DPS, well, in this case, jamming and then of the other team rather than go after the logistics. It's only now, only a little bit earlier, that we saw the first Logi take a lot of fire, and Alpha Volley still hasn't even bothered to try to chase down Dark Taboos and Eros.
It seems like both teams completely ignored the frigates. Do you think that's a wise move, generally?
It can be. It depends on what type of ships you have. If you can take down frigates, knocking out a lot of value very quickly is really, really important. They usually provide a lot more utility than their hit points would.
Right. That's what I was thinking, especially with the frigates that they're bringing here today. These are frigates with a lot of mid slots. These Griffins, and yesterday people were bringing a lot of Merlins. Having all of that E-War and tackling ability with all those mid slots, if you can pop those frigates, knock out all those mid slot modules, you can find yourself in better control of the field.
Yes, especially a ship like the Daredevil. It's worth noting one of the things that makes it so great is that it has a special bonus to the strength of its stasis web fires. So its webs will bring you down to 10% of the speed that you were going at, compared to 40% that a normal web would, which means that they can just bring a ship to a complete halt. It's very easy to use those to tackle a ship and then allow your big ships to get in close, or use them to defend your kiting ships to keep the opponents away.
Right. This wasn't a setup where range mattered as much as other setups because the Rooks can jam from across the field. The Daredevils are really fast. They're going to get on top of you anyways, and the Absolutions have a pretty good range anyway. So it wasn't as important to dictate range in this match.
As the last Daredevil goes down. Yes, for Dark Taboo, the Daredevils would have been primarily for damage and for keeping the opposing ships away from the Rooks, because the Rooks have the ability to kite for long distances. Heavy missiles hit very far, they can jam far, so they are going to generally want to be further away from their opponents.
And Dark Taboo's left with just their last Hero Mollis flying around.
There it goes, very quickly. So that's full points for Alpha Vol Union. Great job for them. Dark Taboo only picked up 4 points. That's going to leave them in an incredibly tough position to go forward. But good luck to both of those teams in their matches next week.